Hi Year 4 and welcome to our second PSHCE lesson. We're on health and well-being stroke safety first. So today our focus is going to be on risks, hazards and danger. So big questions. What risks, hazards and dangers do we face in everyday life? Pause now and have a think. What can we do if we think we're in a risky situation? Pause now and have a think. So, taking risks. Well, all of us take risks sometimes. In fact, we have to take risks to take on new challenges and to try new things. Sometimes it's great to take a risk and step outside of your comfort zone. It's one way that we learn. Now, I'm not talking about risks as in balancing on a wall or something like that. It might be that in my case, as a teacher, I decide to teach a lesson in a different way. You take a risk hoping that you're going to understand it in a better way and that the outcome is going to be better. Sometimes it works brilliantly and you think, yeah, it was well worth it. Other times it doesn't work quite so well because you're out of your comfort zone and you're not used to using it. So, for example, me using technology to deliver this lesson to you now. And other times it just might not work at all. But if we don't take that risk, then nothing new will ever develop and we'll never learn how to do anything. Many risks are not considered in any way dangerous. So we might put a hand up in class to answer a question, and the risk is basically we'll get it wrong. We might not want to get the answer wrong and might worry about what others will think about it, but it's not going to cause any danger to us actually having a go. Other types of risks that can lead to danger. If we see a dog tied up outside a shop and we decide we're going to go and stroke it, we're aware that there is a risk that the dog will bite us. We cannot be sure there is any danger the dog might be friendly, but there is a risk that you could get hurt. So, taking risks. Think about a risk that you've taken in the past. Did the risk have a positive outcome? As in, did it turn out all right? Maybe you got braver at doing something or you learned something new. Did the risk have a negative outcome? Maybe someone got hurt. Maybe, riding a bike over some hill, fell off and injured yourself or broke your bike. Maybe someone got hurt, something got broken, something got lost. Have a think. So think about a risk that you've taken in the past. Would anyone like to share? Well, you can't do that at the moment. My apologies. It would be nice, however, to listen to some of your discussions on that. So risks, hazards and danger. So what do we mean by the words risk, hazard and danger? A risk is a situation that involves exposure to danger. A hazard is a potential source of danger. And danger is the possibility of suffering harm or injury because of that hazard or that risk. When we are faced with a new situation that makes us feel uncomfortable, we need to assess it. We need to ask ourselves, what are the risks involved? What might the outcome be? Am I or is somebody else in danger? So if we just go back to that. So if we take you on a school trip, for example, we have to complete things called risk assessments in school. And it covers a whole range of questions looking at, well, if this happens, what could happen? So these are normal things that people do. Now, I'm not saying you do a risk assessment for everything that you do in life. That's just not possible. But you do look at a situation and think, should I do this? Or maybe I shouldn't. Will it be safe if I go up there? Or, oh, look, that looks a little bit wobbly. Probably not a good idea to do this today. So you make those judgments in your head most of the time. So let's have a look now at the pictures and describe how the item or situation might be something risky or dangerous. So how are the pictures risky, hazardous or dangerous? Share your thoughts with the class. So that there is a sheet that's called risks, hazards and danger. You'll find that in your packs. So get help. As you get older, you'll get better at assessing situations for risk, making responsible choices and avoiding dangerous situations. However, there might come a time when you find yourself at risk or faced with a dangerous situation. If this happens, it's important to know where to get help from and who to ask. Finding a nearby grown-up is always the best thing to do if there's a risky or dangerous situation. Who you ask will depend on where you are. At home, if it's your parents or carers. At school, it might be from a member of staff, such as teachers, teaching assistants, or office staff. Sometimes you might have to ask help from an adult in a position of trust. So, for example, a shop worker, a security guard, a police officer, etc. In an emergency, you would need to get specialist help. So, for example, a paramedic, a police officer, or a firefighter. When someone is harmed or injured in a serious way, or there is an immediate danger like fire, it's time to call the emergency services. So usually a responsible adult will do this, but there might be a time when a child has to make that call. Please excuse me while I move this out of the way. So, would you know what to do? So, step 1. My apologies for that before. When I move the cursor at the bottom, it stops me moving my screen. Anyway, step 1. Stay calm and find a phone. This could be a landline or a mobile phone. Step 2. Call 999 and wait for the operator to answer. You don't have to unlock a mobile phone before calling 999. Just press the word emergency. Step 3. Listen to the operator's questions and answer them as best as you can. The first question will be, which service do you require? Fire and rescue, ambulance, police, or Coast Guard? Step 4. Try to calmly and clearly explain what's happened. Step 5. Try to give the address of where you are or description of the place where you think you are. Step 6. Follow any advice the operator gives you, such as leaving the house if there is a danger or checking the injured person for bleeding. When a child calls 999, the operator will stay on the phone if they can until the emergency services arrive. As we grow up and experience the world around us, we learn about dangers and how to keep ourselves and others safe. Even experiences that put us in danger or situations where we were harmed teach us about something about how to stay safe in the future. So, Carly loves gymnastics. When she was younger, she tried doing a cartwheel on the top wall outside her house. She fell and split a lip and chipped her tooth. So what do you think she learned from this experience? Well, I think the answer is obvious. Practice your cartwheels, but do it on the grass or somewhere flat and safe. Adnan went on a school trip to the museum with his class, but he didn't stay with his group. He wandered into an exhibition that looked interesting and later realised that he wasn't with anyone he knew. This made him anxious and frightened until someone who worked at the museum spotted him and helped him find his classmates and teacher. What do you think you learned from this experience? Stay with your group. Hania is allergic to nuts. At a friend's party, she wanted to eat what everyone else was eating and decided to have one small peanut butter sandwich. This made her very poorly and she had to go to the hospital, meaning she missed the end of the party. So what did she learn from this experience? Well, first of all, asking what's in the food. And secondly, knowing that she could put herself at risk, making sure that she never eats anything that contains nuts because of her allergy. The big questions: what risks and hazards and dangers do we face in everyday life? And what can we do if we think we're in a risky situation? So we're just recapping that. What have you learned today that will help you with everyday life? So I'm just going to go back to this and go back to the emergency services. One thing that isn't mentioned in this PowerPoint that I should mention, the emergency services are there to help people who in an emergency. So you only ever ring them when you absolutely need to, okay? So you don't dial 999 for the sake of dialing 999. You dial 999 when you need the police or when you need an ambulance or the fire service. You don't just dial it for the sake of it. Right, guys, enjoy your task sheet. See you later. Bye-bye.